Zareer Patell is a karate black belt, a personal trainer, the trainer of trainers, fitness columnist, and consultant on call. He was the person who introduced karate to the city in 1972, aerobics in 1984, and cardio kickboxing in 1999. Zareer Patel saga is a living proof that growing older chronologically isn't the same as aging. So I've known you for so many years, and I've been seeing you're the same. I think many people would say same, that you are looking same, you with the same energy and same enthusiasm, and so many other things. All good things to you. But I just wanted to know why you always keep saying age is a number. What is this all about?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me for a talk like this. It's my pleasure and my honor.
Thank you.
People say age is a number. I never say age is a number because I know exactly what age is and what are the effects of age as the years pass by. So many times people call me up and say, how are you doing? I say, I'm fine. But at 67, sometimes I have to say, well, I'm growing older, which is a fact. So at that time they say, oh, age is just a number, Sari. You don't look old, you're still young, you're still fit enough. But that's from a third perspective, third point of view, from the outside point of view. But internally, we all know that we cannot fight nature. That's one thing for sure. Years as they pass, it's common sense that you get older, just like the way your car gets older, the human body gets older as the years pass.
Right.
But then there are two things out here. There is a combination here. It's not a story of black and white. It's a story of gray and which part of the spectrum that you want to come into and project yourself. I'll give you an example. Just a few days back, one of my old friends who was a doctor in UK, she has come down here for kind of good. And she was saying, Zareer, I've come back here, I'm 63. And suddenly now I feel that I've lost my strength. I'm going through a process called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is nothing but it's a kind of disintegration of the muscles, which means you are destroying your muscles over a period of time. So that then the effect of this is that you feel yourself very weak, you're not able to lift, you get tired very soon. So that's called a degenerative process, which is common with serious illnesses. For example, with HIV patients, you have this kind of a symptom coming. For cancer recuperation patients, you have muscle wasting. That means muscles disintegration and the muscles become weaker. They become smaller in size. They are no more the kind of horsepower that you had when you were young. So when she said that, I said, that's a gentle process. Now, the only story is that in such cases, age is definitely a number. And that number keeps increasing and your efficiency keeps decreasing as the years pass. So this is one example that she came up and said that this is what is happening, what should I do? The tragedy is that people neglect and create numerous violations on their bodies over a period of time for years. And then when they come to the retirement age, suddenly it hits them. And now they suddenly wake up and say, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I've become old, I'm become inefficient, I'm not able to move, I'm not able to lift, I'm not able to climb stairs, right. I'm not able to reverse my cars, I'm depending upon the rear view mirror and parking cameras and things like that, which I would never have done when I was young. So these are kind of countless violations, the effects of countless violations that you have become aged sooner than what you would have otherwise thought, normally speaking, if you were fit. So in this case, it's definitely an age problem. That means chronologically, as you grow older, you become weaker and you become less efficient. Give you another example. In 1967, when I was 15, my dad must have been about 55 at that time, which is good 12 years younger to what I am now, 12 to 13 years younger to what I am now. He was a healthy person. So one day when he came back from a tour, he was in the Road Transport Corporation. So when he came back from the tour, it was in the summer month, and we saw a lot of dried up grass on the lawns. So he said, let me just kind of burn this grass off because it's becoming very unwieldy and it's not looking good. So what he did in those days, he took a fit can, filled it up with kerosene oil, and sprayed it on the grass to ignite it.
I
So
see.
sorry.
I see.
So that,
That's
so that
interesting.
little bit of an exertion at the age of 55, though he was considerably kind of healthy,
Okay.
which means not necessarily fit, that culminated into a kind of a stress on his cardiovascular system. He went through a kind of a mild heart attack just because he sparingly exerted himself bending forward in midsummer, trying to kind of spread that kerosene oil evenly on the grass to ignite it and burn it off. What I'm saying is normally at that stage, if you were fit, this would never have happened. Because we have not kind of progressed along with nature as we aged and that we never exercised. This is probably one of the reasons why he had coronary insufficiency after that. And after that, he had two more heart attacks over a period of 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, that's a coronary insufficiency because of lack of exercise and being sedentary. And
Yeah,
nowadays we are beyond sedentary, not even sedentary, it's beyond sedentary.
absolutely, absolutely.
Everything at the click of the button, that everything comes and everything is done. And even now with the COVID, we are doing more with the buttons than going out and doing things.
Yeah.
So what is your take for 60 plus persons regarding exercise?
Yeah, but let me just finish off the analogy between that age is a number business. So
Sure.
this was the first example that I gave you, two examples, that we have millions of examples all around us.
Right.
That as it aged and as you never exercised before, you have come to a kind of a very pathetic situation and a miserable situation, and now you're waking up to it. Like example of millions of people have woken up themselves in times like COVID-19.
Right.
On the other hand, people who have been fit, people who have been exercising regularly, continuously, religiously over a period of decades, these didn't seem to have lost their energy, neither they have seemed to have lost a considerable amount of strength, otherwise which they would have lost if they had never exercises. They are fit, they look young, and they are still mobile and functionally very fit. So in this case,
Like
what you
you,
actually,
you are still giving the classes.
yeah, if you say so. But a lot of hard work and tears have gone into this kind of workouts, but it's well worth it because this in the golden years is standing us in good stead. That is most important. As long as you're young, you can get away with blue murder, but as you grow older, that's the time you need to be trouble free.
Hmm.
So for that, you need to work out and exercise and make it as a routine in your life. So these are the two analogies. And when I show you a few pictures, you will understand that in this case, age seems to be, not it is, but it seems to be like a number, which means you can grow old gracefully and you're still fit enough to do many things. There are marathon guys who are at the age of 80 running marathons. The people are breaking swimming records at the age of 60 and 70. There are people who are exercising, taking martial art classes at the age of 80, 85.
Right.
So these things do happen. We see lots of examples around us. There is yet another factor in this. The third factor is it's also in the mind.
Right.
If you are young in your mind, even at the age of 80, you feel that you're energetic, you want to go out, you want to go out sightseeing, you want to go out with your grandchildren, you want to undertake journeys abroad. Those are the positive minded people at the
Right.
age of 80 and 90 and beyond. And then there are the other counterparts who are kind of withdrawn guys, who are kind of negative. They say, now the age is gone, now what do? I am not interested in this, I'm not interested in that. So those are the kind of characters who will age faster.
People over 60, 60 plus, how they can take care of themselves by doing simple exercise? Can you suggest some simple exercise where they can pick up things when things fall down? They can easily pick up things, and their joints don't feel stiff early in the morning, and they don't get that they are not as agile as in youth. So they improving the agility and being active alert, all these things. How can we improve with simple exercise? Can you suggest
Yeah,
simple
yeah.
exercise?
The negative part is that unfortunately, these people have realized it too late in their golden years now that they want to get fit. But the damage what has been done is there. That you
Right.
cannot reverse it. Remember this. Let me be
Always,
very, very clear about
sorry
that.
to interrupt you, but I always feel that even if we do damage, always we are abusing our bodies most of the time with our lifestyles and food and etc. etc. and the sleep patterns and all. But once you start good habits, body will start helping us out. I think
Yes,
that's
I was
always
coming to that. I was coming to that. So once you start at that particular stage, in a miserable state, when you starting a new life, and when you realize it, and you take small baby steps, doing a few exercises, certain movements,
hmm,
changing your lifestyle. It's just not exercise. You need to change your whole lifestyle along with it.
right.
You exercise means you are now talking about health. You're talking about fitness. You're talking about good living, which means also you're socializing straits, as well as your sleeping patterns, as well as your nutrition. All this has to be changed. Okay, presumably that you have changed all these things after taking those baby steps. Definitely you'll feel energetic, and you might probably reverse to another 4 or 5 years younger, or even 10 years sometimes, if you're serious about fitness. So there, what two things happen. One is that you are actually stopping the disintegration of your body or the aging process to an extent. At the same time, you're also repairing a broken house and making it modified facially, and then it looks better. So now you start looking slightly toner, you start looking energetic, you become active, you are more positive in your mind. And since exercises makes you agile, you can now bend forward, you can carry your grandchildren, you can get in, get out of the car easily, you can climb up the stairs without complaining. So what is necessary is movement. Movement is nothing but oil circulation just in a vehicle or in an automobile. When you move, blood circulates. When blood circulates, it takes oxygen, nutrients to the various muscles, ligaments, peripherals, and nurtures it and feeds it and oxygenates it. This is the way body starts improving over a period of time if you start exercising. Now the question is, what should I do or what shouldn't I do? Now that's a very tricky question. Now what you find normally in magazines and in the media, they show one stomach exercise and say, if you do this, you'll get a flat stomach. There's nothing but all baloney. You do this sit-ups and you will get lovely legs. Baloney. You do that. No, it's a combination of various exercises that you need to do. So,
Okay.
truthfully speaking, if somebody asks me, what should I do? I can't dig into my pocket, take out a paper and say, this is the map of the gold mine. These are a few things that you need to do to completely change your body. That's not possible. What is possible is if they do not like to invest in attending a few personalized training classes or group sessions or whatever, or video classes or whatever, or online classes, if they still don't want to do it, best what they can do is to start walking properly.
Okay.
Have your walks daily, either in the morning or late in the evening, whenever you feel like, but you walk at the rate of 6.5 to 7 kilometers an hour. Don't walk like cattle.
You, Zareer, let us know what you will have on a typical day from morning till evening. What you'll have.
See, I'm a very simple person in the sense that I do not put too much of importance or get obsessed, not importance, obsessed with food. I've never was obsessed with food because I was always in the background running a system which was reminding me throughout 24 by 7 about healthy habits.
Okay.
So I was never obsessed with food, though I enjoy sometimes binging out and eat good food. But
What is your favorite?
otherwise I'm fine with simple food. My food early in the morning would be to have a cup of coffee because I can't do without coffee.
Okay.
That stimulates me before I run my classes. But off late, what I've done is you can't keep sticking to coffee all your life. You need to break the pattern and try out some new formulas. So one of the formulas that I've tried was, this is the glass that I have. As you can see, this is about 300 ml of glass, lukewarm water in the glass, a small size lemon, squeeze it into it. If it's a too big a size lemon, half of it.
Okay.
2 heaped teaspoons of chia seeds. which
Okay.
is full of nutrition.
Okay.
It has got the proteins, it has all the phytochemical, it has all the elements and vitamins, everything what you can think of.
Hmm.
And 2 teaspoons or one big tablespoon of honey, mix it and drink it.
Okay.
This basically is an acidic drink because it contains citric acid. But paradoxically, it works as an alkalizer on a long-term basis. It creates alkalinity in the body, which is a good thing. Too much of acidity creates problems. Also, the vitamin C in its native state, and it's not a synthetic vitamin C made in laboratory, it's a natural fruit.
Hmm.
Lukewarm water, honey is good for the throat. Honey has all the antioxidants, right? It has all the vitamins also to it. Chia seeds has all the fortified elements of nutrition. All that put together on an empty stomach creates 100% of assimilation. And it's a good thing. It also hydrates your system and physically washes your gut, complete gut.
Right.
So this kind of a thing that you have to experiment on. And then during the day for breakfast, since my cook doesn't come by that time, I have to make my own breakfast. I sometimes eat eggs, I sometimes bake an omelette, I sometimes eat cornflakes, I sometimes eat porridge, or sometimes I just drink a glass of milk. It all depends on what. Or sometimes if there are any leftovers of last night's food, I have that.
Okay.
But you must take the cue not from me. You take the cue from those poor laborers, what they have for breakfast. They get up in the morning, pack their tiffins with rice, dal. What we have for lunch is what they have for breakfast. So that is what is our actual meal. To have a complete meal, just like a lunch meal during the day, so that they can work till about 1 o'clock, 1:30, 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon without a break, and they can have sustained energies, making them perform their hardcore work as laborers without cribbing.
They also
So
take
they can,
rest for 10 to 15 minutes
then
and
they
then
take a rest for 1 hour, let them take a rest for 1 hour. But what I'm saying is that particular rice, basically what they're having, sustains the energy. Now you'll say that rice contains a lot of starch, rice contains that, right, creates a pot belly. Yes, all these things are true. But if you were equally balancing all the other things along with rice, this would not have happened.
correct.
Picking out on rice, you're also picking out on all the other gravy with fully all rich fat-laden gravy along with that and blaming it on ultimately to rice. You're having all the other things which are not supposed to be had, you're blaming it onto rice. So it's that. So for a breakfast, you have a breakfast like a king, as they say. You have a nice breakfast because that's the first meal of the day.
Yes.
Then as you go to lunch, 4 or 5 things are very important here.
Mhm.
I was eating rice for so many years, but now I'm mixing rice with millets. You have
Okay.
foxtail millets, you have little millets, you have yellow millets, you have got so many other kind of millets. A combination of 3, 4, put it in a jar. Maybe take half a cup of rice, half a cup of millets, cook it like rice. Remove the starch if you can. If you have the patience to do it, nothing like it.
Okay.
Have your dal every day in the morning along with rice. Have your proteins along with it. Now, since I'm a non-vegetarian, I can eat non-veg stuff. But for you guys, the dal itself has proteins, your paneer has proteins, your beans, your peas, and your pulses all have proteins. Even rice has proteins. So you can have one of those kind of meals along with vegetables. Vegetables should not be black in color. It should be still green in color. It should not be overcooked. As long as you have your vegetables, your rice, and your proteins, you can have your yogurt, of course. That's all about what else would you like to have for lunch? That's all which is necessary. Then
True.
a snack here and two, here and there. And then for dinner, the same thing you can have now. For dinner, you can probably cut down on rice and have some pulkas. Rather than having hot parathas being made every time, you can cut down on that and have pulkas. Again, vegetables. Again, a piece of dal or whatever it is. Or a piece of non-veg if you like. Well, that's it. And then if you still feel like having something here and there, somewhere or the other, you can go out and pick out if you like. But ritually going on Saturdays and Sundays and having that fulfilled meal, I mean, kind of meals every other week for months together, for years together, is undoing your works, your entire week's hard work.
Hard work. Right. Give me one message to general public regarding their food and lifestyle? Just one simple message.
The simple message is movement. You have to be active, period. I'll give you one example. I've lost 2.5 kgs in this COVID times. It's only because I'm cleaning my old house, I'm sweeping the compound, I'm dusting my furniture, I'm watering the plants, I'm cooking my food. All these things I've done, which I was not doing it earlier, apart from exercising, of course.
Okay.
So the activity and movement is the key for better existence. And simple, healthy, nutritious food. That even we didn't even have obsession about six packs in those days in 1970s. But as you can see here in this photograph, there is a six pack out there without much of an effort. And that is because of low fat levels. If you have high fat levels, however much you exercise, you will not be able to see those six packs unless your body fat drops down to about 12 to 15% or even lesser than that. So this is one photograph. Then 20 years later in Country Club, when I set up the facility for them, that was in 1991, this was when I was 39 years of age. As far as what I can see, I have a better body here now, though it's a little bit grainy because of that quality photograph. It's far better than what it was when I was 22, when I was 20 years old. This was in 1991. Then another 20 years have passed when I was 60. This was taken at home. You will find almost the same kind of definition here in 1960 as well, except there are a little bit of a overall aging process which has happened, and that cannot be avoided. Even at 60, I was very, very, very fit. This is at 60, as you can see here.
Right.
Then at 66, about a year and a half back in 2018, this is a photograph that I've taken in a gym.
Super.
Here again, it seems to be almost the same. Now, if I had to wear a shirt in all these three photographs, you would find that there's not much of change, but I know what change has happened. Definitely, strength levels have come down, agility has come down, stamina has come down. Those 100, 200, 300 push-ups that I used to do, now I'm barely able to do about 20, 30, 40 of them. What I could lift about 200 pounds, and now I'm just able to lift about 120, 130 pounds. That's about all bench press. So these are the kind of degradations which will occur, but at the same time, if I hadn't exercised, probably I would have been a diabetic, I would have been obese, and probably I wouldn't have been there in this interview because my family has complete diabetics, and there 4 people in my mother's family have died of diabetes. So you can see, probably I'm saying, the health and fitness lifestyle has saved me from that. And this was 1967, that is last year, November, with my 2 grandchildren.
Lovely.
As you can see here. So the thing is, if you can tie your belt snugly around your waist, neatly around your waist, that means you are healthy. If your waist has to be more than your hip circumference, and if you put on midsection fat, then you know for sure that you may get coronary problems later on in life, because the fat which is in the midsection is the same fat which tends to block your arteries, the main arteries that supply blood to your heart. Exercise will prevent that from happening. Exercise also will create vascularization, which means that if a certain road, a key road from Hyderabad to Secunderabad has been stopped, then people will take Lower Tangbin Road, they'll go through Panjagutta side, they'll go from here, there, everywhere. So as the body's blood demands are increased because of exercise, the body's physiology makes more arteries supplying blood vessels to the heart.
Right.
So those are the peripheral kind of arteries, collaterals as they call it, will supply efficient blood supply to the heart. So even if a main artery of your heart is blocked, probably the collaterals will do their work and compensate for it. That's another very good example of
There'll be
exercise.
collaterals. I'd like to know your hobbies. I understand that you play piano. So when did it start and what is the story behind? Is it a de-stress thing for you?
Yeah, any hobby is a stress buster for that matter. Well, there were only two hobbies that I know of. One was martial arts and fitness and physical hobby. The other was music hobby. So at the age of 14, both started at the same time, martial arts as well as fitness.
Okay.
So just to give you a small background, I had an old piano at home, which was lying around since 1905. And my mother was a very good pianist.
Okay.
I had done a ATCL from the Trinity College of Music, London.
Great.
And for years together, till I was 14, there were these snide remarks from all people everywhere and say, why doesn't Mrs. Patel's son also learn music? You play so well, why don't you make your son also a musician? But that never materialized because I showed no interest in it. But at the age of 14, I was forced to start music. And I was surprised at how fast I picked up, because in those 4 years, right from 14 years to 18 years, in 4 years' time, I did the syllabus of 8 years. That is, till 8th grade, I finished by I was 18, which is in 4 years' time. And there was always an ongoing battle between my physical passions, that is martial arts and weight training, and music, because playing a piano entailed your fingers had to be very supple and soft and pliable and not stiff.
Okay.
While on the other side, the physical form, the karate form, entailed fist injuries, wrist injuries, bashing up bricks, breaking wood planks, all sorts of things,
Right.
and weight training.
Totally different.
Totally different, and both antagonists to each other's happiness. But somehow or the other, those 4 years of mine when I was learning music went off very well, and I did with merits. That was a good story. The ending was fine.
Right.
And one more thing is, while I was kind of playing classical music, practicing, I already had deviated into jazz, because that is the passion that I like, because jazz is very creative. It's all imagination, it's all impromptu, and that is what I like.
Because you're a living legend of fitness, an icon for fitness. So I hope all our audience will like this, and we wish you a long, long, long life and quite productive life in years to come. Thank you
And
so much, Zareer.
thank you very much, Janaki. I hope that these talks will kind of put some kind of awareness in the general population, because finally, it's a matter of existence. And COVID-19, billions of people have realized that life cannot be taken easy. Health and fitness plays an important role. If you value that, you need to live. If you don't value your life, it's a different story. But otherwise, health, fitness, nutrition encompasses a good and happy life and a good and happy ending, most probably.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here with you.